Alrighty. What is up, everybody? Oh, just waiting for Unity to decide it wants to play. How are we all doing today? Hopefully we're doing well. We're going to attempt to get the character controller coded out today. It's going to be a little different with fixed camera angle gameplay, but we'll figure it out. We'll get her done. But hopefully everybody's doing all right. There we go. We also got to finish blocking out the actual store as well. But I think we'll be all right. What the hell is going on here? Why is my movement so weird? All right. Let's see where the character's at right now. Where is my player? There we go. Been a while since we've been into this file, so we got to figure out what we did with this before. So the current player movement script is all based out of rigid body. We definitely don't want it out of rigid body. So we're probably going to add player controller or the character controller in. We don't need it to be physics based, so we can have physics based objects, but having just a basic RGB or rigid body based movement is not really what we need. So this is all going to go away. It is nonsense. The checks on the checks on the checks, yo. Almost fucking 700 lines of code or 600 lines of code. Fucking just doing checks for cameras. Nuts. There's probably an easier way to do that. But yeah. I didn't expect the camera controls to be that in-depth. I'll probably look into optimizing that, but this really isn't that taxing. It's just checking to make sure things are false that are supposed to be false. That way we don't have conflicting camera problems. Yo, what up, Highland Cow? Welcome in. Welcome in. How goes the studies? All right. So all this lovely mess here is going to be gone. I'm actually going to refer back to character controller I built out for this guy. I had donuts today for my professor's birthday. Hell yeah. Did you get any good ones? Like those super exotic crazy ones? Sorry, I'm jamming, but hopefully this actually opens and doesn't freak out. Unity's been having issues with opening up two at the same time. I'm a plain Jane, so I had a glazed and vanilla frosted. Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with the OG. Ain't nothing wrong with the OG. OG donuts are the OG for a reason. So we really need to get we need to figure out how we're going to work out the actual maneuvering through everything as well. Because there is the way that we're structuring this game is it's probably going to touch every part of the mall, including a couple of other scenes that I need to build out. So we went over slides on Windows Forensics. Never mess with Windows Forensics. Okay, So I think we're going to stick with this code here, because we don't need the camera to follow, but we still need the player to rotate, and the character controller has things built into it to automatically do that. Actually, this one. This is the one that we need. Sorry. So the graphics of Windows version excluded Windows 8. So we joked it was because it was cursed. They don't want you to remember. Yeah, because Windows 8 was abysmal. It was terrible. Everything sucked about that entirely. Okay, we're gonna have to do a grounded check, which is fine. Been a while since I built a character controller. I was working on getting this one refined out pretty well. That's why I'm referring back to this one. But all we're really gonna need to do is get the reference to the character controller, the transform, and the ground checker. And then basically take this code right here. Yeah. So this is calculating everything, and then it's just calling the controller.move. So we could just take this code and basically drop it right back in, because you're getting the horizontal, the vertical. We're not going to have a jump. Cam diagonal angles. Yeah, it's taking the position of the cam into account. This may... Yeah. Anyway. It was extremely ugly. It was a tablet functionality on a desktop computer. It was disgusting. Anyway, but yeah, no, it was disgusting. But then later in the slides was showing a command that showed Windows OS version. Among other things, they were using Windows 8 Pro. Yeah. Like, and then they tried to sugarcoat what they were trying to build and made it to where you could have the desktop mode, where navigating all of your applications was the way that you would do it in Windows 8 with that tablet looking bullshit. Yeah. 100% don't agree. So I think that is the way we're going to approach this. Is I'm going to basically take the controller I have for this guy and translate it over, because this one works out really well. I think I have it set up for K, where it's based on camera angle, not so much. So if you turn the camera around, he'll always walk with the camera. So this will make it to where everything is only problem with this that I'm seeing is one big glaring issue. is that we are going to have to set that camera transform equal to each of the transforms of the camera as you transition in. So we're going to have to get reference to everything inside of the player controller as well. Or I build a game manager and then I store the variable inside the game manager, and then it pulls the information from the game manager. That's probably going to be the least amount of traffic. Yeah, I think maybe not, because it is pulling the transform of the camera itself. Okay, well, we don't really need velocity.y. We're not calculating fall speed because you're not even going to be able to jump. So, all right. Let's close that. Okay, first things first, what we need to do. Found the Windows 8 user. Ew. Then my professor looked and saw that. Yeah, that's disgusting. I don't approve of Windows 8. I think Windows 8 is a disgusting setup. All right, so what we're going to do here is this component is going away. Going to add a character controller. That's fine. And then all of this is going to change. Just delete all that. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically translate this over and make it function for how this works. My concern is that it's going to be very jarring, and we might have to do something with like a smoothing or something along those lines for the camera movement. But I don't really want to make a swooping camera. I want it to snap because I don't want you to get trapped in a corner. Okay. Yeah. All right. Public transform. Oops. Oh my God, I can spell. Cam. And then we're going to go ahead and get the make it public for now. I'll come back through and lock it into place. Okay, and then we're gonna need the transform of the player. Yeah, transform of the player. I'll do the ground check in a minute. I don't even think we're gonna need to do an is grounded because we're not gonna be jumping. So we can always add that in. Player, okay. Let's see, ground distance, don't care about the environmental mask. We are gonna need the float for the speed. Let's see, victory box size, recovery rate, men, no, we're fine there. Yeah, we don't need any jump power, we don't need any of that. Turn speed we are gonna need. I love stealing from my own code. It makes me feel good. I did just think of a use case for Windows 8, and it would be navigable with a controller, so it is more accessible to disable individuals. I mean, Yeah, it could be 100%. It depends on the disability though. But I mean, hell, there's a controller out there that you can control with your mouth. So, I mean, I guess, yeah, maybe. I could see that working out in a way. You just have a controller instead of sitting there trying to navigate through a computer with like full mouse keyboard setup or whatever. But if they're already running the or the tablet style setup, then they've only got to use one hand to navigate. So, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna have to I'm gonna do another public float of turn smoothing because we don't want them to turn fast. We don't want them to. We don't need. We don't need the is grounded check. We don't need the bool. Okay. Stats manager, animator. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and generate a float. Basically gonna just take and we're gonna copy pasta this over because float, we're gonna create the horizontal and the vertical float, so movement up and down, and then the horizontal and vertical axis reflects. Well, I don't even know if we're gonna need that because we're not doing camera movement. Horizontal, vertical. We wouldn't need the vertical at least. Horizontal is gonna be. Let me see what that refers to exactly. Am I in the wrong fucking thing? I do this all the time where I forget where shit's at in here because they have so many different ways to do this. Okay, it's in project settings. So input manager, let's go ahead and get the axis. Horizontal is going to be left and right, and vertical should be forward and back. Up and down. Yeah, W, okay. S, gravity 3. Navigational buttons is going to be, okay, down and up. Now I'm wondering if that correlates to the controller as well. Here, mouse. Joystick axis. We could do a joystick axis. Kind of wanted to have both. Get motions from all joysticks. Okay, that's fine. Yep, that's what we're gonna need. Okay, so horizontal, vertical, and then vector 3 direction is going to be equal to new vector 3 horizontal 0 F vertical normalized. Okay, and then we're going to call an if statement here. If direction dot magnitude is greater than or equal to, if this works out fucking first try, no issues, just by, oops, sorry about that, I forgot. I can't use my numpad. So that was my fault. If this works out to where I don't even have to really do much of anything other than just translate some code over to the new by doing this. Now I'm pretty sure I made it turn smooth. Oh, hold on. Turn smooth, and then this is actually going to be I don't see a point in building out a new document if, you know what I mean? Like I don't see a point in adding in a bunch of new code or trying to rewrite the wheel if I don't need to. So this technically should work. And then we'll add in the transform of the cam, which is going to give us our Euler angles. Okay, let's I'm gonna hope this works, because that'll save me an ass load of time rather than trying to just rebuild it all. I could just utilize it. Let's see, main camera, we're gonna constantly get that. Character controller, and then the player itself. And add the player scale. All right. See what happens. Everything's probably gonna break. Well, nothing's yelling at me, but I cannot move. It's because I have a 0 speed. Okay, let's set our speed to 20. Turn speed is going to be 20 as well. And we're going to do a smoothing of 10. That should work. Ooh, okay. Well, we have real controls now, but my God. All right, let's turn that up to 100 and see how well that works. Not 100 EE. Let's see what happens when we go out here. Okay. Wow, it's actually acting exactly like it should, but there's the issue, right? So because the way that this is set up is it's actually calculating too fast. And we're okay, so we are getting the result that we want from that, but we are going to have to do some definite movement speed adjustments and stuff like that to make it work, because like right now, one, he's just insanely too fast. So, and if you walk back, you can sit here in this like weird limbo area. But it is doing exactly what I want it to. I know it's hard to tell because I'm only moving in weird directions, but it's reorienting and changing the directional input to be in correspondence with the actual camera itself. So, like, I'm going forward, but because I'm on a slight angle, that's my Euler angle for my camera. So that's perfectly fine, because you want to push towards whatever you're wanting to walk towards. So you can actually navigate through these pretty easily, although like I'm breaking the game technically. Okay, and then sorry, I gotta get my tester. Technically, I should. There we go. Yeah. Definitely more intuitive with the controller than it is anything else, because obviously fixed camera angles are better with the controller setup rather than a mouse and keyboard. So you can definitely do some more finite movements this way. But this is the problem I'm running into right now, is whenever I come into areas like this. So if I hold in certain directions, it'll bring me back here and it'll lock it into this one because it's going in and out so fast. Okay. Well, I got to add something to the front of the player controller so I can see if it's actually spinning the character or not. All right, 20 speed is way too fast. Let's put it that way. Let's do it like a 5 maybe, and then a turn speed of like, we'll just keep it consistent, 5, and then turn smooth of 10. Smoothing is calculated smooth damp angle, the transformular angles. Okay, so we shouldn't have a super high one. It's all right. We're gonna modify this guy really quick. We're gonna go ahead and add a 3D object really quick. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. Let's give this guy a nice cube face. We're gonna go ahead and scale that down to quite small, I think, 0.2. Yeah, 0.3 will work. 0.3, and then of course 0.3. Okay. Pretty close to where you'd want your eyes. There we go. Got ourselves a nice little reference point. Let's go ahead and we'll make it green. There we go. Now, whenever we're actively playing, we should see just how fast he actually... Yeah, see, that's what I thought was going to happen. Although that movement speed, way better. But now we don't have to worry about that, but we do need to do downforce on it. Okay, so we need to add in velocity.y plus minus. No. Minus equals. And it'll just create constant downforce. So we are probably gonna have to do an is grounded check. One thing with character controllers that I don't like, so he should be turning. That's kind of the issue, and it looks like he is a little bit, but not turning fast enough. He's not. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, lost my thing. We need to get a reference. Man, why my brain is not remembering code right now. So, yo, what up, Nias? You're gonna get to see multiple projects today because I'm cheating and taking my own code. Yo, what up, Ion Lance? What up, brother? How you doing today, buddy? All right. I'm stealing my own code. Don't tell anybody. Your secret is safe with me? Good. So, this is code that I wrote for Forever Fallen. Okay. So this is going to cause constant velocity increase. Velocity is its own variable. So that's creating, this is creating the downforce. Okay, and then for the fall speed, we need to have it be a negative integer because we want it to go down. Also, I love the song Royalty. I'm good. I'm glad you enjoy it. Player UI, player cam. What are you called? Oh yeah, I forgot I had to. That's for a different reason, but that's fine. You. All right, let's see what we got this set up as. Turn smooth 0.1. Okay, I think we got our turn smooth way too high. Small fall speed of -15. That's just because, yeah, I know why. I don't think we need to do a ground distance check at all. But this is just set up on a random playlist. I don't even know what's actually slotted to play, so. Yeah, I don't care about the ground check or anything. I just need the fall speed. Okay, cool. Easy enough. All right. And then we're just going to come under here under the update. And we're going to do this, and we're going to just make another variable up here for vector 3. So if you don't know, Unity operates in vectors, which takes 3, depending on if you're working 2D or 3D. If you're working 2D, it will take 2 variables in, your X and your Z. Sorry, your Y and your Z. And then with the 3D, it takes your X, Y, and Z. So your X is going to control your left and right. Your Z is going to be forward and back. And then your Y is going to be your up and down. So what we're doing right here is we're going to make a public vector. And we're going to make it just velocity. If I could remember how to spell. There we go. And then here we're going to say velocity dot Y. So we want to control the up and down because we want the character to go down so that it sits flush on the floor. And then we're going to set it equal to another variable that we're going to create. Actually, I'm going to put that one under this part as well, just for organization's sake. We're going to do a float. And we're going to call it speed? No. I'm going to call it fall speed. Basically, adding gravity. Yes, 100%. Because, so, Unity has a couple different ways that you can handle it. The way we had it handled before was using a rigid body, which is Unity's, like, easy calculation for gravity. If you want something to just fall and act natural, like if you had a ball and you wanted it to just drop and hit the ground, you could add a physics material to it to make it bouncy, and then it would calculate it all out for you. Or you can do a character controller. With this one, I'm using a character controller because of the simplicity of this game. If I say simplicity, but I mean, this is my script for camera positioning. Again, I say simplicity lightly, but with the simplicity of the character movement and inputs that you need to do, there's not much that you actually have to do as far as movement goes. So you don't really need to do the constant detection of gravity. You don't need to do the constant physics detections, all that fun stuff. You just need it to be able to move and turn in a way. So velocity.y is equal to fall speed, and then the what I'm about to add here, the times.delta time, is going to be a normalizer for frame rate. So your time.delta time is going to be used when you're working with things that, like, if, say for instance, you have a god tier computer, I build this game on mine and you're getting 6,000 frames a second, it would take yours would process your jump and your physics differently and how it reacts to things differently than what mine would running it at 100 frames a second, so on and so forth. So you use time.delta time and it takes every other frame, and it's a really big long calculation that it does to figure out and normalize to the frame rate of about 60 frames a second. So And then if you're doing anything physics based, you want to do it not in a standard update, you want to do it in a fixed update so that it always. All right, let me back up for a second. Your update functions are going to be what calculate every frame. So every frame, it's going to be checking all this code. A fixed update is going to be on a set interval of frames. So it's going to check it every other frame. Same thing as like what time.delta time would do. But I'm not doing anything physics based with this, so I'm just going to do it all in the basic update. Hopefully that made sense. I know I kind of rambled, but yeah, that's where I messed up. I knew I fucked something up there. There we go. All right. So now if we make our fall speed a decent variable, and we are going to change a couple things as well. So turn smooth, we're going to turn that to a 0.1. And then turn speed. Hold on. It's only referencing the turn speed, so it's not actually. We might adjust that at some point, but then we take the fall speed and we make it like -15 like we did before. So if you also don't know, whenever you're doing this, you also need to understand how to calculate gravity. 9.82. Yeah, 9.82 meters per second is actual gravity. So if you're doing things like what I was doing in this code, so we're telling it to go down here. Hopefully you can see that really well. If not, let me know and I'll zoom in for you. But down here, 9.8 meters per second. Yeah. But down here, so this is grounded check. So if it's true, it's going to set the velocity of point y, or of velocity of dot y, or your y variable or your y vector, to -2, so that it just pushes it down. If you get grounded and everything in this area, because I have it storing the max velocity that you reached while you were actively off of the ground. You know what? I could probably just hard set this variable to -2 rather than generating constant. That's actually a lot smarter than trying to generate constant fall speed. Let's do that. Anyway, back to this breakdown really quick. So while this is running, you're going to be constantly generating velocity downward. It's never going to stop. It doesn't matter if you're on the ground or not. So you have to have something that tells the game that you're on the ground. So you put a little node on the bottom of your character that checks for the ground and says, yep, you're grounded. Once that becomes true, this is all going to happen. So you just fell for a long period of time. We're going to immediately set it down to -2f. And then the stored variable of the highest that you reach is going to be how you calculate fall damage. So we took it and we're like, okay, cool. If it hit between this range and this range, you're going to take 10 points, 20, 30, 40. And then anything above that would just be death. So you would go into a death state. So, and that's only calculating that max velocity. And then for me to store the max velocity, where the hell was I storing that? Hold on. Here we go. So if it's grounded as false, max velocity is going to be equal to velocity.y. Yes. All right. So let me show you. I don't have that project open anymore. It's easily fixed. You go away. Thank you. You reopen. I can show you really quick. It's pretty simple to do. It's just also kind of annoying because you got to do some weird code to get it to work right. But so we break open the player cam right here. This is our actual player. So this guy right here, the guy who's going to have full control, right? So on the bottom, we created a object. So if I actually take you and I disable your mesh renderer, I grab the ground checker, and so it's really hard to see, but this green outline box right here, so this area right here, that is going to be our ground checker. All this is a trigger or a collider that impacts this surface, and all this extra surface is on the environment. So when it collides with that, it's going to tell the ground or the game or the code itself that, hey, I've touched this, you are now considered grounded. Of course, all through code. All right, you're really being a turd today, Visual Studios. All right, so let's see, where is it at? I wrote all this code so long ago, I don't remember exactly where I put everything, but all right, here we go. If his ground is equal to false, okay. Where's my ground check? Here we go. So is grounded as a bool, right? So for this one, you actually need to generate a physics check for it. So you're going to go into the physics department of it, and you're going to call for a checkbox. Well, the checkbox itself takes in a vector for the center, the half extents, so half of the distance of the box itself, the quaternion orientation, so what angle it's rotated at, and then the initial layer mask. And that's what we did here. So the ground checker is going to be the position of the actual box itself, so the vector 3 dot center. And then the half is going to be the box size, which is another variable I made so I can adjust it as I need to. And then the quaternion angle is going to be a 0, vector 3 dot up, so that it makes it just orient correctly, so we're not rotating it at all, and it's going to stand straight up. And then the mask or the layer mask that we're using is that environmental mask. So whenever it checks this, it's going to look at all this stuff, and it's going to generate an invisible box where that other collider is. So that one that's underneath the player itself, it's going to generate an invisible box, and then that box is going to touch that environmental mask. As soon as it touches that mask, it's going to turn is grounded, which is a Boolean, which is just a true or false statement, to true. And then it'll come down here. So then I go, cool. If grounded is equal to true, do all this. All this will never be called unless you have a max velocity over 15. Well, negative 15. So when you hit negative 16, negative 17, negative 20, whatever it is, that's when it's going to call that. And then we increment it up to give more and more damage depending on your fall. So what I can do is we come back here, we turn our mesh renderer back on. All right, so looking over here on the right hand side, my max velocity is what we're using to calculate fall damage, right? Oh, it's running weird because I got 2 games running at the same time. Let's do this. So, with the max velocity on the right hand side, if you watch it while we're falling, you'll see that it's going to go up. Boom. So I took 10 points of damage. It doesn't read out anywhere. It just shows up in the top left where my health bar is. That shows that it's working. Now, if I go significantly higher and we do 40 points of damage, which I can't really do, I can't infa jump, so but yeah, you can easily kill yourself in this game by fall damage. So hopefully that all makes sense. But the ground check is literally just checking to make sure you're on the ground based on whatever layer you set it to check. And then there's a big difference between layers and tags. So tags is like, hey, this individual item is going to be tagged as this. And that's all it means. You can do a ground check based off of that, or you could do it based off of the name of the object. You can do it off of the tag, the layer, whatever it is. And then you're good to go. But that's a different kind of input that we're doing. This one specifically uses layer masking to make sure that, hey, all this environmental stuff is going to put you on a grounded state, whereas like this one is tagged as an enemy because I was working on some ray tracing stuff. Physics.raycast. Don't save. But this should push our character down. Not hard, but it should push our character down. So when we get done with that, we save that. Also, Unity really doesn't like when you run 2 separate instances of Unity, especially with 2 game projects going. So just keep that in mind. So whenever we go up something, we should... No, okay. That's what I thought. Alright, so that is fine. That is 100% fine. We can just go back to the way that we were. So plus equals, and technically you don't have to do plus equals either. If your brain... If your brain can handle you doing... negatives, do negatives. If your brain cannot, just do minuses and pluses. So if you want it to go down, you minus to go down. If you want it to go up, you plus to go up. So technically, if we made the fall speed a positive, we would just float into the air. So I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. This would be a lot easier if you had been around for the whole thing, so you could see some of the smaller coding to understand how it all kind of works. But I don't think we need to do anything super crazy with this. Just get it to actually function correctly. You go away. Give me that. Okay, 0.1, negative 15. Okay, so now if we actually look up right here, we'll see that our velocity is going to constantly climb, and that could cause problems later. Like, why are you not falling down? You should be falling back down. But you see how it's starting to chug a little bit whenever we're moving? Alright, now I want to see something here really quick. Hell yeah, look at that. We got controller inputs, yo. I am testing with the controller as well, by the way. So just to make sure that we got the functionality that we need, but we're not falling back down off of things, which means that it's not calculating the down. So we got to figure out why it's not doing that. But I want to fix that as well. So we are going to do a ground check. So Why are you not doing that? Okay, and that's calculating jump power. Oh. Yeah, we're not going to do a check box on this guy. We are going to add another object underneath and a little sphere. We'll make it again. I think 0.3 is kind of good across the board. So that should be fine. Put it right about there. Yeah. So here we need to get it the transform for the ground checker. And then we need to get the we're going to have to put it on a layer mask. I don't think we need to do a ground check. But I really wanted to stop calculating and adding velocity. So, because that equals -2f should have done what I needed it to do. So we're not getting the result that we want. I don't think we actually need to do this. I think I'm overcomplicating it and I don't want to do that. So we're going to get rid of this and drop that off because we don't need it. We just need it to be pushed down. And it's not actively being affected right now. I mean, we don't want it to constantly. The -2f should do what we need it to, and I can always adjust it. Sorry, I'm just reading over my code really quick. We should be falling down, and what's going on right now is it's just not, or it's just falling insanely slow. Yeah, we're not falling down, so we're not actually affecting the character movement. Why? Oh. Dummy. All right, I'm stupid. I forgot an entire line of code. We'll just do -15f right now. And then we're going to go character controller dot move. And then we're going to go velocity times time dot delta time. There we go. I didn't actually call for it to move. Oh god. So we're actually setting it to a constant positive. Now it should fall normally because I'm actually telling it to fucking move. There we go. All right. We're going to change this over to fall speed now. And then we're going to save that. No, we got, that's shouldn't. Oh, fall speed is a, yeah, float. Okay. So we're going to change this to actual gravity of 9.8. And we're going to see how that looks. Whoa! Hey, that's what happens when you don't make it a negative. Just kind of float away into the oblivion. Negative 9.8. There we go. There we go. That seems a little bit more. There we go. Now we're getting it. And it definitely got abducted there. Oh no. Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting the motion movement that we want. See this, I got to figure out why it's doing this. But doubling down and having controller support is going to be really nice. Yo, what up, Lins? Welcome in. We have controller support. We have real movement of the character now. So, ooh, see, that's a problem. Do we need to add a sprint? That's the real question. There is a problem with it, though. And it's a common issue with fixed camera angles, where it's based off of camera angle. So it's hard to explain or show, but whenever you're playing a fixed camera angle, right, your movement is based off of where the camera is. So my concern is that whenever you're walking along, if you go like this way, for instance, what ends up happening is you end up not walking the same direction you were before. Am I going to add a little inertia? Not for this. It's not needed. So inertia would be extra stuff that you don't need for this game. You could add a little bit of like carry and have it to where you slow down a little bit, but think of the way that like Silent Hill or Resident Evil controls. Those are not needed inertia. So you would just need to be able to stop wherever you are. We can add inertia whenever you're running, but with the way we're setting this up is while you're running, you're going to need those real tight controls. So I don't want to overdo it, if that makes any sense. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not building velocity while standing still or moving or anything. Well, we have this actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. Like, I don't even have to really work the cameras too much. We're going to have to change the angles of the cameras and do a little bit of adjustment so that whenever you're walking from zone to zone, you don't have, like, I got to figure out how to maintain the controls for a split second to allow the player to adjust for the transition to the new zone, because your controls swap based off of your camera position, right? So pushing forward will always make you go away from the camera, which is the way that all of them are designed. But having a transition like this where you start walking one way and then, oh shit, now I gotta move my joystick down, I want to see if I can mitigate that. But then again, overcomplicating controls could be bad. So, woo.
Are you tired of your boring, bland...
Insert my made ad here.
Time to introduce the cheeseburger.
I really need to do some more of those. Those redeems are fantastic.
Finally, a replacement for this boring
Okay.
burger that you call a cheeseburger. The cheeseburger is much better.
So,
Cheeseburger.
sorry, I hadn't heard it all week. Needed to hear it.
If
No,
your
you're
friends
fine.
refuse to convert to the cheeseburger, Abandon them. They're no real friends of yours. Leave them. Only the cheeseburger shall survive.
The cheeseburger. Move over, honey. There's a new favorite in town.
Okay. So, oh, by the way, Neas, this is considered gray boxing, by the way. So we've gray boxed out a portion of the level that I'm going to be doing most of my code testing in to make sure it's working. And then whenever my art team gets a hold of it, they're going to come through and make it pretty. And then they're going to add in more stuff. The way I think about it is that you just take the last input from transitioning and having it keep going for a few milliseconds. You're not wrong. That's called a coroutine. And we could set up an input delay on that, but because of the way that this is working with the camera angles, I would have to do something with it holding the previous transform and then basing it off of those angles could be doable, and then transferring it over to the current one. I learned about gray boxing when I was learning the process of how to make maps. Nice. I'm not trying to make you sound stupid, and so, but you're not wrong. That could actually be the solution. That is a simple solution for it, is generate a coroutine that holds the angle for a second or two, and then you have previous camera angle being stored. So we get the transform of the previous camera, store it in its own variable, and then have it go into the coroutine, and then you wait for a few seconds, and then you set it to equal to the new camera. And then from there, your orientation will change, but it's going to be just so much of a time where you're going to be just enough for you to go, okay, cool, and then reorient, and you're good to good. Mishu's just being a teacher self. You're not wrong. I'm just thinking of ways of how I would do it, but then again, I'm not really smart enough to identify what other ways there is. Well, I mean, that's essentially what it is. You just want to hold a position for a certain amount of time so that so that whenever you're playing, like, think for instance, whenever you're doing your inputs, give me this. So whenever you're doing your inputs on your controller, right? So if you're moving forward and then the camera angle changes, which means you now have to pull this way to go back, you want enough time where this is going to be able to translate to this with it being seamless. Building up inertia could technically do that as well, but then also brings in other problems. Oh shit. Changing my code because I'm changing scenes. If you put inertia in, that creates other issues where if you're walking forward, think about if you were running forward and then you tried to stop really quick and go back the other way and then realize you need to go back and then turn back and go the other way. That's what kind of reaction you're going to get from just simply swapping from camera to camera. Yeah. Basically, that's it. And you could technically do that through a coroutine where the inputs are held for half a second so that whenever the player is there, you could easily swap it back without having a big jitter. You know what? We're going to do something really quick. We're going to do something real quick because I want to see something. I need to close you. We can go ahead and save this really quick. Close that. Open this guy up. Don't worry, we're not done doing game development, but I'm basing all of my setup on old school, old style. Oh, thank you for the like on YouTube. Much appreciated. Old school, like Resident Evil input, right? So, where you at? So why would we try to remember when I could just do? Excuse me, but I need you to play. Thank you. Oh God, everything's gonna freak out for a second. Just bear with for a moment because it's not set up by 2560 by 16 or 1440. That's one way of checking, right? Hey, you know what? We're gonna be definitely playing this with a mouse and keyboard. Or with a controller. Alright, we gotta fix something really quick though. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. There's nothing I can do about... Oh, video settings, there we go. Nope, we need big boy settings. Oh no, do you not have 2560 by 1440? Window? Will that fix it? Frame rate. Oh no, you don't have 2560, but oh no. That's unfortunate. That's big unfortunate. Okay. Well, bear with the smaller size for a moment. We'll fix it in a minute, but I'll leave it in windowed mode so you know that I'm not just being weird. Here, I'll even put it in the middle. All right. I probably should have loaded. That'd be a lot faster, wouldn't it? Yep. Okay. We're not here for the disposition. Who would have thought you were getting Resident Evil on the same day that you... can I not? There we go. Enter the survival horde. Okay, well, you got it.
There are only 3 stars.
Okay, cool. Like I said, I'm not here for disposition. All right, perfect example. So, yeah, see, it holds the direction that you're pulling because it's all camera based. But yeah, so there's the problem right there. But how does it retain that? See, that's what I'm trying to mimic right there. So you guys can see what I'm talking about, right? Ugh. So even if I'm facing away from the camera, it's still going, even though I'm pulling back. And then as soon as I change and pull back again, oh God, I'm flipping back and forth because but as soon as I do this, right, the inputs stay the same every time. I'm wondering if we do it based off of local positioning and we drop off the camera based movement entirely. Maybe we do that and then I don't know. I don't know exactly how to approach that situation. Wonder if it locks based on which you're facing until you go off the key. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to mimic because that's way smoother than doing just what I'm doing right now. And that's what we're about to try to figure out. Now you got all that locked into your mind, right? just don't let me forget it. All right. Thank you, Lens, for the shout out on YouTube. Definitely don't forget to like and subscribe. I forgot that I bound my little buttons back here to do quick turns for when I was playing other fixed games, for fixed camera angle games like that. So when I was trying to hold up like this and I was holding it, he was just sitting there, wee. All right. Okay, so we got that figured. Let's figure out how we're going to get that to work. It needs to be based on horizontal. Let me see. Because that movement for a fixed camera angle is perfect to me for how you should play fixed camera angle games. Because your movement shouldn't be based on the camera angle, it should be based on a couple different things. So maybe what happens if we just get rid of this? What happens if we just... What if we just get rid of that and make it local based rather than off the camera? Let's see what happens. Might not like that. Doesn't mean your character movement isn't based on where the camera is pointing, but your character local X, Y, Z. That's what I'm thinking as well. Because with me not taking in the camera Euler, then technically I would forever be able to go. Yeah, see, and that's the problem with getting rid of the camera Euler. Okay. Well, we kind of got the result that we're looking for by getting rid of that, but it doesn't change position. All right. So we have to take in the camera position at some point. We just got to not do it right away. Oh, we really need to fix that camera angle. That transition is rough because you have a big section where you're completely invisible. Oh no. Oh no, I've lost my character. Shit. So we have to take in the camera Euler angle at some point, but how do we get it? How do we get it to happen after we've let go and reestablish the camera Euler? So for us to do that, we would have to go in and we'd have to get the camera Euler before. So we'd have to set the target angle every time we would roll through, right? And then on the release, I wonder if we could do a... Maybe... Okay, target angles, math F dot and 10, okay, that's fine. Transform dot rotation is Quaternion Euler angle. That's the angle for taking your X and your Z around the Y. That's just your smooth dampening to the angle so that you don't just snap. All right, vector 3 move direction of going to be equal to your target angle. Okay, vector 3 dot forward. Okay, so this right here. Wonder if maybe we could do the plus here. No, I didn't think we could. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Okay, so that will set your target direction based on what if we did this? If we do a velocity check to see if the movement is happening in a forward direction to the local, well, if there's any movement at all, really, along the X or the Z axis, we can keep the current one. All right, so if we do okay, so we're going to go public vector 3. X move. And then we're going to do another public 3. Z move. Okay. And then we're going to make so if we create another transform, okay, so we got 2 vector 3s, right? If we put, so if the magnitude is equal to that, right, then we can set our target angle as soon as we stop movement, right, along the X or the Z. So we can go, if in the magnitude is greater than or equal to 0, 1, F, basically I'm wanting to see if I can store the Euler angles for the Y in a previous. So if we come up here and we go public transform, yeah, we call it brief cam. I wonder if we can store the transform of the current cam in the previous cam. And by doing that, we could set it up to where you would maintain the previous cam until you have a 0 velocity on the X or the Z. And all you would have to do is set your target angle equal to the actual antan and all that fun stuff of the previous camera Euler angles. And then as soon as it updates, then the current would become the previous. I wonder if there's a way that we can do that. So, because right now we're sending in the, here, let's go ahead and save that. I think we're going to need both of those. So that's fine. We'll just rework it. Does that mean your character movement? Okay, sorry. So I think I think the way that it ends up working out is that it is based on camera, because that distinct ability for it to swap and your pull towards you after you stop moving in Resident Evil, pulling the joystick back towards you moves you to the camera, is exactly what we're looking to do. But what I'm wondering if we can do is if we can go like this, and we can take this full system, get this Euler angle right here. So the rotation of this exact angle. And if we can store that in a thing that does not change. So we'd have to do an if statement that would say if transform dot, or if your vector3 dot y, so if your x move dot x is equal or is greater than or equal to 0, or if it's, you have to do a double check. So we'd have to set the previous angle equal to the cam. And then we would have to just change one variable constantly back and forth as soon as that. Okay, so on start, void start. We're going to set the previous cam equal to cam, right? That will set the previous cam equal to that. And we're going to operate off of previous cam here. All right. So now with the way that works, as soon as we start, right now, the previous cam is set. It's this right here. So if we go to the player, previous cam is set equal to that transform, right? So if we move out of here, I mean, it is doing exactly what I need it to. Like, that's perfect. It's not based off of this camera angle anymore. So it's based off of this angle. So if I come here, oh no, it's still, is it? No, it is not. I don't know what it's doing now. Hold on. Hold on, let's do something else here. Yeah, it's still basing it off of this camera. Why? Because on the start, we're setting that equal to that exact transform. Which means that it should not be taking input from that Euler angle. This previous cam is a fixed thing. So if we just take this one and we make it previous cam dot y is equal to 30f. Why don't you like that? You should like that. Oh. It really did not like me doing that. So as soon as we start, it's setting that up. So whenever we start, oh, you know why? Yeah, I just broke the shit out of it. Yeah, I didn't like me changing over to Euler angles. I know what I want it to do. Recompile so you get rid of all my unassigned reference and all that nonsense. But it's going to set it directly to the main camera. Which is where the problem in lies, because it's not actually, it's updating it, so it's basically just saying, cool, it's the main camera transform, which is not what we're looking for. That's where our problem in lies. Which is unfortunate because now, yeah. Not what I'm wanting it to do. What's up, baby? For what? Okay. I will be right back. Apparently my wife needs me to go save her. 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. Anyway. All right, look, we know what we want to do. We just got to figure out how we're going to do it. Storing the previous cam as the cam at the very start is not going to work. So we need to store the vector 3 from the cam. So I know what we need to do. Public vector 3. And then this is new vector 3. It should like this. Oh, cam dot y. We don't even need that either. All right. So because that is storing the Euler angles, we should just do that dot y. And that should fix that. All right, let's see if we got that down. Okay, so previous cam is 17, 315, 35. We don't need that. We need the rotation. So we need to get the cam rotation. Okay. We don't need the transform. We need the rotation. Public rotation. And then we can go ahead and set this one. It's going to be a constant change though. So we need to set Camerot is going to be equal to new vector 3. We're basically going to be doing all of this. All right. Up here. Oh, we would have to get the public game object. Okay, hold on. I'll clean all this up. Main cam. Okay. Okay, so main cam dot. Why don't you like that? Main cam dot transform dot rotation. Yeah, here we go. This should work. Do you only need the one variable here? I mean, we're already getting the cam. We're only really rotating around those. We're already getting the main camera transform. I don't really need to get the main game object because it's already getting that entire fucking set. I just need to call out directly to the rotation. Is it gonna like local rotation better? Or is it supposed to be? Yeah. I don't think maybe I'm overcomplicating this. Okay. Cam dot rotation dot x rotation at y and rotation at z. Okay. Okay, so now when we hit play, previous cam should be set to -31. Why are you doing that though? I mean, are we getting the result that we're looking for though? Not exactly. Because if I push forward, I'm getting that. So that means that it's not working. Okay. And if we change this, fingers. It's not even giving me the option to use it, so that means that I'm doing something wrong here. Previous cam is equal to the new vector 3 cam.rotation.x, y, and z. Wonder if maybe we could kick it to local rotation. No, I didn't think you would like that. Working in local space is not exactly fun for Unity, because now we're getting it to act differently, but it's not acting the way I expected it to. Because we're getting a -3 on this, and I have no idea where that is. Yeah, so it's still pulling the position. Why? Okay, so maybe we kick this over to a transform, and then we go, this is going to be rotation is equal, no. Okay. Can we just set this equal to cam.rotation? Okay. And then previous cam.Euler. Oh my god. I can spell. Euler angles.y. Okay. It cleans all that up, but let's see what that does for this. But that's the thing, is it's going to set it's not going to actually set it as a vector 3. Okay. Variable previous cam of player movement has not been assigned. I did assign it right at the beginning. I set it equal to that. And I can't just straight up do I didn't think so. You got a real stickler of a problem here, because it's not letting me just pull the angles that I want unless I store them into a vector 3, which is fine. We can do that, but we got to get that vector 3 equal to the actual rotation of the camera. We don't need the camera, so I think we got everything in the works here on how we're going to do it. But this needs to be a vector 3. Are you gonna? That needs to be a vector 3. Because then we need to take the vector 3, we need to take the transform, we need to take the rotation of the camera, and we need to set that vector 3 equal to that. But it's not wanting to catch the variable. So we literally should just be able to cam.transform.rotation. Yeah, but it's already a transform, so all I would need to do is the rotation. And we'll say new vector 3 cam.rotation. Yeah, it's going to want me to break all three of them down. So but we've already done this, so then I can't do this. So what we would need to do is this transform, right? So I think what we would need to do is another public transform here. I know this seems kind of weird, but if we do another transform of hold cam, and we go hold cam is going to be equal to, or hold cam dot rotation is going to be equal to previous cam new vector 3 cam dot x previous cam dot y and z. Or I could just put previous cam in there because it's already a vector 3. Why don't you like that? It's already a vector 3, so I don't need to do. Should be able to just take it just like this. But why is it not? Cannot implicitly convert type vector 3 to unity quaternion. Okay, so you don't like the quaternion. Even though I'm trying to set the values of the rotation using a vector 3. Yeah, this is becoming a problem. This is becoming a big problem. I mean, I could always just throw it back in there and leave it as is for now and come back to it a little bit later, but I wanted to work out the player controller today, and that includes getting it to but it's not holding the right values at all. It's holding 0.3, negative 0.3. What the fuck is that? Okay, well, we need it to hold the local transform. And we already have that. That's the problem. It's just not grabbing the right values. We have the transform, which includes a position, rotation, and scale. And to affect this, we would have to just change the actual scale of everything else. So why is the previous cam not grabbing the value of this at all. Because it immediately sets it to 0, -30, 0. But for some reason, the previous cam, and it's probably something stupid that I'm overlooking, but it's grabbing this, which doesn't make any sense. And then when I'm here, come on, it doesn't change, which means it is holding the value, but I don't know what it's holding the value for. I don't know where it's getting this value. And we're in global space. Maybe that's its local rotation. And then to get the hold cam, so hold cam dot rotation dot x is equal to previous cam dot x. No, you don't like that? Why? Cannot modify the return value of the transform dot rotation because it is not a variable. But it should be a variable. So I'm grabbing the transform from that to generate. I'm trying to generate a rotation. I wonder if I can honestly just do something really fucking stupid simple that would maybe make my life easier. So we already have the move vectors for velocity, right? So if we, do an if statement here, x move, is greater than or equal to 0. Yeah, and let's move less than or equal to 0. I'm wondering if I can do this. So all of these things have to be... all of these things are going to have to be true for that to work. So basically I'm restricting it to say if there's any movement at all along these. So I'm wondering if I can do this. Right. And I'm actually going to change this does not equal 0. All right. If that does not equal 0, then we're going to set the target angle equal to the camera Euler. I don't think that's going to work either. I think what we're wanting to do is if we're wanting to check, and if it doesn't equal 0, then we're going to say if is moving. Then we're going to set the target angle. Okay. If it doesn't equal this, then let's go ahead and come up here and is bool, or we're going to make a public bool is moving. And then here we're going to go ahead and set is moving equal to true. If is moving is equal to true, okay, so if is moving is equal to true, we need to set so I'm wondering if we can go this is going to be the same issue we ran into before, where we need to convert the cam rotation to a vector 3. Okay. Okay. Because I can't convert that. Yeah, I've done this before. God, I can't type today. All right, let's do some digging into this and see why we can't do this. Yo, what up, Jimmy? Welcome in, welcome in. And velocity is a vector 3. I need a vector 3 as a result, only to read the direction. I'm not going to use the vector 3 to set a direction. I'm aware that I can cause gimbal lock. I convert direction. Not much. My auction sold, so made about 2 mil. Hell yeah. Still can't sell the shotgun for some reason. That's weird. Okay. Well, I think we got that figured out. So now we can actually set this to hold cam. And then we're going to set this one equal to the cam.euler angles. Okay. If moving is true. What are we working on at the moment? Trying to get my fixed camera angle to function in a way where... So... This is going to be kind of hard to explain. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is the game that we're working on right now is a fixed camera angle horror game where I'm trying to get it to where if a player is constantly moving, then whenever they are, you know, technical talk hit me. I'm trying to get it to where when a player is moving from zone to zone or camera zone to camera zone, the input doesn't change until after they let go of the input itself. So right now, I don't know what my dogs are barking at, but they're going nuts. So right now, hold on, I'll be right back. All right. So back to the discussion here. So, whenever we are what's going on here? Excellent. All right. I don't know what's going on right now, but things are not acting the way that they should. There we go. Anyway, sorry, it's been a very weird fucking night for me. But currently right now with the way that we have everything set up. Oh, yeah. That's null reference because hold cam has not been assigned, but it's not affecting anything. So essentially the way that it works right now is if you go into one spot, it flips your controls immediately. And I'm trying to get it to where it holds your input across multiple. So instead of coming into a scene like this and then immediately backing out and going somewhere where you don't know, I want it to where when you hold the direction you want to move, it stays that way until after. Yeah, Resident Evil camera stuff. So, trying to work on the code to get that squared away. And I think it's going to be right here. So the hold cam Euler angles. It's saying that it's not assigned, but I'm assigning it through code. Okay, so what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get a variable to hold this whenever we're actively starting the game. So and I don't want it to because we were trying to do it through this vector 3, but it's not wanting to do what I want it to. And this is not going to be, well, now hold on. So we want the cam, previous cam, to be equal to cam.Euler angles. Okay. So let's sign that really quick. I know it's not assigned to anything, but I don't care at the moment. I'm trying to get it to store. Okay, 17, 315, -4. Where did you pull that? Okay. Okay. And then we're going to set hold cam equal to Euler angles equal to previous cam. And then we're going to, instead of pulling the cam, we're going to go hold cam Euler angles. Okay. So what we want to see happen here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Maybe I get to do that because I'm storing a Euler angle in there. It's vector 3. It's probably gonna argue with that. Yeah, the medium. Oh. Okay, hold on. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we don't need this right now. So let's get rid of that. And then let's get rid of that. Okay, so we'll store that right at the beginning. That's going to be a constant changing variable. So all of this is going to be under if is moving. Okay. I think we're getting somewhere here. I don't even know why I did that. I didn't need to. I can just delete that and then delete that, and then that will connect in. So, all right. So, if is moving, then this will be equal to the previous. And then under this, we can go else. I'm going to do this under an else if statement. Not as moving. Then we're going to set previous cam equal to cam. Oh, hold on. Yeah. Cam dot other angles. So if you're moving, it's just going to take in the previous cam variable, right? And then as soon as you stop moving, I didn't even actually look to see if that's actually working. So I need to pull this outside of this as well, because I don't want that to be part of the magnitude. So if move.x does not equal 0 and z.zmove does not equal 0, then is moving is equal to true. Direction of magnitude is moving. Well, that's our magnitude. I can actually, if direction.magnitude is greater than or equal to this, I could actually do this all within the magnitude. I think. Actually, I can 100% do this all within the magnitude itself. So we can take all that and get rid of it. Oh my God, formatting, you're going to be the bane of my existence, aren't you? Okay, that's fine. And we'll just get rid of that line. Clean some things up a little bit here. Okay, so else if direction dot magnitude equals 0 if, then we're going to change the previous. Yeah, we're going to set previous cam is going to be equal to cam dot Euler angles. And I think that will give us the result that we're looking for. So this variable is going to store all the Euler angles from the camera, and then while we're moving, it will just run off of that variable. As soon as our magnitude reaches 0, which is taking the horizontal and vertical input, then it'll update it. And then as soon as we go back and give magnitude back in, it'll go back. So, uh-oh. It's not a thing anymore. I deleted the hold cam. Yeah. Let's see if I broke it. I most likely did. Okay, so... oh, shit. Okay, so the previous camera didn't hold. So now it is. Okay. And then, all right, it is doing it for some reason though. Yeah, so it is doing it. Because now, okay. Yeah, it's 100% doing it. All right, we nailed it. We got exactly. Will have to be based on player position compared to camera, right? So when you're working with this kind of setup, you're wanting to base your movement based off of the actual camera position, not so much the player position. But when you're working through this, you want to make it to where whenever you're holding down, so like my magnitude, like we got it figured. But so say for instance, right now from this camera angle, if I push up, you're going to go away from the camera, right? And if I push down, you're going to go towards the camera. What we were trying to get done, oh God, this is really awkward to do at this angle, is that say for instance, I'm pushing forward. I want them to maintain that direction until I let go, and then it'll change it back, which we just got it figured. So that way, whenever you're playing something, if you have to do a scene where you're just going to be constantly moving, you can just adjust it, and then now it makes more sense. But we definitely got it figured. So, because it changes every time. So now whenever I'm holding across and going across this way, even if it changes, because I haven't stopped moving, my held variable is going to be the 130.5 until I let go, and then it changes to the 228.5 until I move to a different camera. And then it changes 315. That is exactly what we were trying to get done. So, and this of course will have, you know, mouse and keyboard controls, things like that. So, got it figured, baby. That way, if you're walking, you don't have to let go of the keyboard or the input. And then whenever you're done, it'll be intuitive on what direction you need to go. So, right now, if we're pushing this way and I want to keep going forward, no matter what way I'm doing, as long as I'm maintaining a magnitude of some sort, I'll always be moving forward. And then as soon as I let go, cool. My intuitive control says I can go this way. You know what I mean? Like, that's a little hard to understand, but we just got it figured out. And all we had to do was use the magnitude rather than everything else. So, and I made it way more complicated than I actually needed to. We don't even need the main camera. All I needed to do was add one vector, and I was set. That's what's beautiful about it. But we got that down. Actually, the player controls are coming together a lot faster than I thought they would. So, yeah, all we had to do was add this one variable. And on the start, it's going to store that. Actually, I don't even need to do that. Because, let me make sure that it's actually going to store it this time. Because as soon as we started last time, it broke. And I want to make sure that it wasn't because of my start function. Can we, thank you. So this previous should snap to the 330 or whatever it is. Yeah. And then as soon as we start moving, regardless of where we're going, it should maintain that direction, which will make the gameplay way more intuitive. And then let go, 31, cool. And then I can go this way. All right. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Now we're getting to the point where it's actually starting to play like a... I need to fix this camera angle. I need to pull it back some. Now we're getting it to where it's starting to play like a fully fleshed out game. And I can actually step up and down on this now. It's great. And then, yeah. All right. Looking fucking saucy. I think we nailed it. And now the controls function almost exactly like the way that Resident Evil controls work. And all it took was literally one check, and that was it. And I don't even need this anymore because it's all being done with the magnitude. So we don't need that bull at all. So this one can go away. We can clean that shit up. We can clean up all these vectors that we're generating. Hell yeah. I'm digging it. So simple for such a... That's what's annoying about this. Is that looking at it, it seems simple. Like, oh, I wanted to continue moving in the same direction based off of the input. But, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Like, it's weird. That's the easiest way I can explain it, is that whenever you're working in this, it's like, all I wanted him to do was, while he was moving forward, it hold this position and then call it good. And then that, based off of that position, that's what your controls would remain as until you stop moving. And then it would update that position to the new position. And then you would then run off of that position again until, again, you let go, and then rinse and repeat. So... But yeah, it's not so much based off of player position. So it is based off of the camera. But it's a little bit different when you're trying to set up those kind of controls, because it's more based off of the previous camera than it is the camera you're currently looking at, until that one now becomes the previous, if that makes sense. Until you physically stop moving, it doesn't change until after that point. That way, that way you don't walk into a section and it goes, yeah, and then now you have no idea where you're at. So, yeah, we got it figured. She's good to go now. Player controls are now a square. Now, obviously, whenever we come into this situation, we're going to get a little bit more in depth with triggers on doors and stuff here in a second. Yeah, we're going to get in depth with triggers on doors. So when you walk up, essentially, I actually don't even need to over elaborate this. What the fuck is all this? Oh yeah, I need to organize my fucking hierarchy. Yeah, I need to organize and name my hierarchy because it's getting pretty messy. Anyway, so if we come here and we take... Where are they at? I'm actually just going to do new ones. But if we take and we create a 3D object here and we call it a cube, for instance, why are you so fucking far away? Reset that transform. And you come back over here. There we go. Take and vertices, snap that right there. And then we're going to take it. This one is what? 2.5. So we'll make it 2.5 tall. And then again, we'll go ahead and vertices snap. What? Why? Why are you not? There we go. And then we'll make this one. How wide was this one? 2? 2 along that. Okay. And then we'll take this over there, and then we will get rid of the mesh render and make this one a trigger. So if we add in a son of a bitch. There we go. I should have been organizing this as I went. I was starting to, but organizing this hierarchy later is going to be a nightmare. I'm actually just going to go ahead and create an empty game object here. Call it door triggers. I'm just going to start sticking these all in there. So, got to. But if we wanted to, we could add a component here and we just call it door open. Just make a completely new script. Open that up real quick and then go ahead and do a void on trigger enter if other dot game object dot tag equals player. So we're gonna have to get two things here. We're gonna have to have two game objects that deal with this, but we're gonna have to get a game object for the public game object door. Perfect. If input dot get key, and we'll just say first it's gonna yell at me because I haven't done anything with it. So we're gonna go into edit, project settings, and then we're going to go to input manager. Let's see. Don't want horizontal, don't want vertical. Fire 1 to jump. Submit. What do you got? Submit as return. Enter. Okay. I could build another one. 26 button 0. I got to figure out my button mapping for joystick. But for now, for testing purposes, keycode.e. Then we'll close that off. And then we're going to go door.setActive equal to false. So this will be a filler for now. And then what we can do later is we can actually set it up to where it plays the animation of the door opening. And then we can go, this door is going to be this guy there. So cube 34. God damn. Okay. Cube 34. Boom. Okay. And then we come over here. Hopefully I got my tag right. Hopefully I spelled things correctly. So if we come in here and then we hit E. Okay, it's not registering. Hold on. All right, what up? Other game object player. Should be working. Hold on. Let's do something here really quick. About messed up. About crashed my Unity there, or potentially crash my Unity. Debug.log. You have opened the door. Just to check really quick. Void on trigger inner collider other game object tag. Yeah, my code is right. It's not registering the input though, so well, let's see if the trigger is working, because it should be. Just gonna do a test here. Oh, that's gonna break some shit. Okay. So it is registering the trigger. It's just not liking the input. I mean, that'll work for if I'm walking up to an automatic door, but I want it to be based off of input. Oh, that's because it's not an update function. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do here is we're going to go can open. I didn't create my bool. I was just typing in my variables. Public bool. Bool can open door. Oh, damn it. Fingers. Stop doing dumb shit. So we're going to have to go can open door is equal to true. And then we're going to take this out. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that would work, but, you know, at least I learned the error of my ways, right? And then under the same one, we can do a public update, or just a void update, where if can open door. Why do you keep doing this, autofill? Stop it. Doesn't actually finish out the curly brackets. It's kind of annoying. Can open door, or if can open door, if input dot get key down, and then else. We're just gonna go ahead and throw in a debug.log. door is locked, I guess. Oh, that's gonna fucking call so many times. I don't need the else statement. Overcomplicating things. And then void on, whoa. Oh, fucking. I'm getting a little tired, so. So I'm fucking up just like general syntax and shit like that because I'm just a wee bit sleepy. So, alright. And then on the start function as well, let's see, void start, can't open door is going to be equal to false, just right off the rip. And then we're going to move all these down here, just for organization's sake. So on the start, it's going to be constantly checking to see if this is real. If it is, then we can go ahead and hit the E button and it should set that to act or deactive. And then whenever we move through, yo, Furiosa, come to say hi. What up? We're racking our brain trying to get things to work correctly. Oh yeah. We got interactable doors now. We just set the triggers wherever we need them, and then we're good to go. You know what we could do? So what's going on? You making a game? I sure am. Working on building out all the interactable doors and character controllers right now. So this will all be a horror game by the end of it. Do they open on command or proximity? On command. So we just worked through that as well. So we can actually do can't open door. We can actually create another bool here. And close door. We got the proximity first, and then I was trying to stumble through why it was based on proximity. Well, I was trying to figure out why it wasn't working initially, and then I got it to work under proximity, and now I'm making it work under the now I'm making it work under command, and I'm going to make it where you open and close door. I don't know why it keeps flashing at me. I'm gonna have to come through and get this to what are you doing, Unity? Jesus. My God, I'm getting a little sleepy, so things are getting a little weird. What in the fuck is going on here? All right. Brain, I need you to function for at least another hour. Okay. And we're going to set this one to door set active to true. Boom. And then under here, under this one, we're going to set this one to can close door equal to true. So is it a go up to the door and press the command button to open, or could you open it at a little distance? You don't have to be right on top of it. This is a third person. This is actually a third person fixed camera angle. So it's going to be more like playing like the OG Resident Evil. Sorry. Yeah. And then we will set this one back to can close door. Hold on. We got to set this one to can open doors equal to false. And then we're going to set can close door equal to false. And then we're going to set can open door equal to true. So as long as you're standing in the trigger, you can open and close the doors. And then we're going to go and set the can close immediately to false. Camera angles of Silent Hill piss me off. I'm trying to make sure I don't do that. We're going to be probably revamping the camera angle positions and stuff like that. But I'm very much adamant on trying to make it to where you have as much visibility and maneuverability space as possible while still giving you that cinematic feel. I'm trying, all right? We got a lot of the camera angles worked out already. So I shouldn't get any weird errors from doing what I'm about to do. Shouldn't. Oh boy, that's happening really quick. Okay, well, yeah. I think what I'm gonna do to fix that is we're going to go, instead of just get key, we're going to go get key down. Whoa. What in the fuck? There we go. That should fix that. That's only going to register one input at a time. But yeah, I'm trying to make it to where everything kind of flows seamlessly, where you can constantly see your character, as well as getting really nice cinematic views. But I'm going to have to do some adjusting for sure. There we go. That's much better. One input at a time. Make sure it works. Yep, it works. What? Oh, shit. Oh, no, I'm good. How far away can you do this? I can probably make the trigger a little wider. No. Yeah, one wide is a little narrow. Let's go ahead and kick that. We'll kick the mesh renderer back on and we'll make it 3. Nah, that's too far. That's too far. We'll double the size. Actually, what I should do is I should double the size from here, make it 4, and then do this. That way you have a trigger on both sides that you can open and close the door, and then I have to do half the work. There we go. Perfect. Absolutely nailing it. Make sure everything still works. I think that's how we're going to do that from now on. Yeah, much better. And then I can come in here and I can still close the door. I haven't set up the camera angle for inside yet. So, can open, can close. So, well, now here's a problem. Okay. Have you seen the Overthinking game? I think it was called Where Everything Can Kill You. That game has probably a nightmare to code. Oh, yeah, you talking about the one where you can like walk by a telephone pole and it can fall on you, or if you take the wrong path, a random fucking gas pipe can explode. Yeah, I've seen that one, and that one seems like an absolute nightmare to play. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for ridiculous games, but that one, ooh, the game where you have to go to the other side, yeah. You have to go to the other side to go around a pipe to go buy a trash can that somehow still kills you, or the random satellite dish. Getting too close to a car and explodes, yeah. That one would be a complete nightmare to code. I don't even want to know or see what the coding looks like in that game. It's probably a complete nightmare. Also, not feeling this music. See if this is any better. Alright, it's got some slow build up. I can get behind it. Make Good Choices is the name. Is that what it's called? See how much it is. It's fucking $3, really? Yeah. This might be a rage game one day for me to play. We should add just one thing that could insta-kill the player. Pretty much everything could insta-kill the player in this one. So, this is more of a psychological horror, not a fight and run horror. So, whenever everything is said and done, if you don't do something right, it will kill you. And then you'll have to restart the section. So, don't... Ooh, boy, I'm not excited about building out the checkpoint system. That's going to be a nightmare. But yes, did you see that we got the camera working correctly? Or the player movement working correctly? Check it out. We got cool things. We can do this. And it maintains the position. Look at that. Oh, yeah. So beautiful. Oh, yeah. And then whenever it moves, it intuitively snaps back. Nailed it. And it really wasn't as hard as I was trying to make it. That's what I hate about it, is like I overthink it so much that like this camera angle pisses me off. And you know what I think it is? I think it's because, what was it, Alt Space? No. Yeah, I don't remember how to make this full screen. It don't matter. But, you know, having the ability to move and not have to worry about your camera angle not being dumb. Such a nicety. Such a nicety. Anyway, now that I'm done showing off. So, well, we got that working. Now, whenever it comes time, I do need to fix the bug really quick. So with this, we can't set it back to false. We have to just get rid of this. And honestly, I think I might change something here. So I think what we're going to do is, yeah, we have too many things changing that variable around. So we're going to go in front of door. And then we're going to add that variable really quick. Okay. And then we're simply just going to go like this, and then we're going to go boom, bam, boom. Then we're going to take all this and we're going to dump it inside of that if statement. That will fix that bug. So what it's going to do is this bool is going to flick on and off, and then I will do a void. I don't like that. Void on trigger exit. And we're just going to copy all this, put that here, and then we're going to say false. There we go. And that'll fix that issue. That way, if you leave a door open, you won't have any problems. And then I gotta map the key codes for the controller so that I can just make a input for it. Yo, Cheesy, what up? Thank you for the raid. How goes it? What were we playing? What were we doing? Welcome in, Cheesy viewers. Working on my web app? Hell yeah. What was it going to be for? I don't know if any of my viewers are still awake, but I learned raiding is mandatory from a wise man. Yeah. I don't raid nearly as much as I should. Definitely don't raid nearly as much as I should. So it's a multimedia tracker to track video games you're playing, shows you're watching, and also both physical and digital collections, video game shows, movies. Okay, what is... Uh-oh. Hold on. Something ain't right here. Oh. I know what's wrong. Shit. That. True. Okay. What's use case? What are you designing it for? So are you just trying to do show tracking or game tracking, or are you going to utilize that to do peer focused inputs? Primarily for me and my friends who are tired of all the other trackers. Oh, nice. I mean, yeah, do it. There's probably a use case for every kind of app out there. I'm working on building up basically a fitness tracker for one of my buddies. It's going to have built-in programs you can follow and stuff like that. Okay, well, my camera transition just broke on me. That's not good. See, this is a problem. Okay, this door problem is going to be That's going to be a problem. Because those are going to be public bools, so I need to send them. I need to create a state. Oh, I'm nowhere near development phase. He is building out all of the extra programs and stuff that he wants to include, and then he's going to send me all the information and then just go, here you go. It's like, okay, well, fine. So, but this is my priority right now, is getting this game built out. But now I'm in a weird predicament here. So I have to get a way for the door to tell me if it's open or closed. So these bools are going to be independent from each other. So if I put this over on the next one and I tie it in, this trigger will have different bools under the same name. But it's going to be... I got to figure out the state of the door. You know what? Before I start making a problem for myself, let me go ahead and duplicate this over really quick. And then we'll just... Okay. There we go. Perfect alignment right off the bat. Look at that. Boom. There we go. This will have different state after the initial opening than this one. We just have to figure out what this door is called. This is cube 43. This is very disorganized and it's really bothering me. I'm probably going to have to spend the next millennia cleaning this up, because I can't even find cube 43. There we go. So that is going to affect cube 43, and this should have different states. My philosophy is making stuff I want or like, and if other people find it useful too, that's a win-win. Hell yeah, it is. That's the way I've done pretty much everything in my life. So, okay, so if we walk up to this door, uh-oh, why did you break? But I'm not monitoring the right thing. That's why. Okay. So if I leave this one open, in front of door can close. Okay. So if we go over to this one should be under a different state than what that one is. So then when I open it, okay, cool. Yeah, we're good to go. Never mind. If I want to leave doors open, I can. Beautiful. I was thinking that was going to be an issue when it came time for implementing multiple triggers across, and I was like, oh no. Yo, thank you for the follow, Cheesy. Much appreciated. Also, we have a lot of developers in my Discord. They do a lot of different kinds of things. So if you want to come in there and bullshit and hang out, you're more than welcome to join. So there you go. You're more than welcome to join. We pretty chill group, pretty humble. We don't shit talk each other, kind of doing that grow together mindset. I mean, Nias in my chat right now is currently learning how to do exactly what this is, and was super excited to see me stumble through and try to figure out how to program out the code. But primarily, I'm into playing video games and doing this. There are some days where I do charity events and stuff like that, but that's just because I like saving animals, and most of the time I support some kind of weird animal foundation that nobody's ever heard of. So, all right. Well, we got door functionality in, we've got player controls in, and they're pretty much exactly the way I want them to be. Doors were super simple, and then whenever it comes time, we're gonna change this out for controller input as well. That's just a simple or statement, or just generating a new input control myself that will accommodate for all of those, and then just changing the name. I was so mad when I fucking saw what I was doing wrong, because it's such a simple fucking fix to get it to work the way I wanted it to, but overcomplicating things is the way of coding. Yeah, and I got to figure out how I'm going to fix this nonsense. Had a similar feeling earlier. Oh. Programming do be a fickle bitch sometimes. I am going to fix this, though. I think. Sadly, I don't think there is a way to fix it, though. Because this is literally just a state machine, just flipping things on and off as need be. I'll give that one a good think, because that one I'm very sure I'm going to come up with a better way for this, because this is just a nightmare to code, because every time I add another camera position, I got to come in here and do all this. And technically, I don't need to. I think I know how I'm going to do this. I don't need to check every single position, because there's impossibilities with some of these, right? So if you set this up like a grid and say positions 1, 2, and 3, and 4, if you go from position 1 to 2, the only ones you should have to check are 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If all those are false, then you're good to go. And then as you move through, you just work it in a grid where all the connecting points are. Okay. I think we're going to rework all this to make that a reality, because doing this for every single camera position in the game, oh, it's going to hurt my soul. It took me 5 hours to code all this and get it working correctly. This is just a massive storage for all the camera positions. And then a giant if statement saying what to do when you touch them. So I wonder for ages why the styling didn't apply, and then notice I put the element in the wrong container 2 hours ago. Dang. Yeah, that sucks. So just for reference, this is all the camera positions for just the outside. I haven't done any camera positions inside at all. So that is fucking, that's going to become insanity. And technically, no, it's not drawing on anything in a bad way. It's just, could you imagine having to make one change to a camera position like out here and then fucking just, oh God, it's going to be pain. Damn. Okay. Well, that's going to be a project for another day. Because all this right here is just camera positions. Every one of these. And none of them are physics objects. They're all triggers so that you can pass right through them. None of them have any kind of real colliders to them. And then this one is a 3-part camera position because of how I had to model it. So, yeah, it's... Oof. Undertale's entire dialogue system is one big if statement, and it's one of the most popular games ever made. If it works, it works. You're not wrong. I'm just looking at it for later, for future proofing, because if I have to come in and I have to make an adjustment to something, Jesus. Like, say for instance, I had to move, for some weird reason, camera position 20 into an interior position. Oh my God. The amount of work that would go into doing that. Woo. But I can't see a better way of doing that. And then going through, like, this is sadly just the way it's going to have to be. Unfortunately. Because there is no way of doing this. And it will only go to the point that it needs to and then just back out of the code. So I'm not worried about that. And then this is just... Damn. So... most games are just big if statements, so... But yeah, this one is going to be a nightmare to continue on this pattern, but I also don't want... I really want to avoid the possibility of conflicting cameras turning on at the same time. There's one thing I hate is whenever you're working in something and it flickers. So... and if you flicker between two camera positions really fast over and over again, then you get seizure probabilities and all kinds of other stuff. So I don't want that. I want it to be a nice, smooth, well-built project. And I think this is like the simplest of code for the doors that I can get. It's not super complex, and then whenever we get the animations and all the actual assets in place, then we're going to be on track with getting all the animations set up. Just boom, play animation this, blah, 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 set this state to true. Future-proofing. But I think we're actually completely done with the character controller. We might add a sprint, but... adding a sprint is actually really easy. You're just going to take it, and as soon as you get the key input, you're going to go from speed to speed times 2. Or speed times 3, however fast you want the character to be able to run. So... sorry, I'm doing a scrub of my code to make sure I'm not missing any glaring oversights. Yes.
Human life.
Nonsense. I'll let her in. Sick. Might have got to fix then. Hopeful. So. Okay, I can do that. Hey, thank you for the like on YouTube. Much appreciated. But, sorry, my wife came in to give me the stuff. I'm going to head out now. It's getting very late, but I'll definitely be back for future streams. Have fun. Hey, thanks, Cheesy. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the raid. Much appreciated. And yeah, I'll definitely come check out your web development as well, your app development. So drop into my Discord and hit me with that notification when you go live, brother. But yeah, have a great night. Get some good sleep. I'll see you in the AM. All right. On another note, guys, I think we're at a really good stopping point. I have a lot of things figured out that I wanted to work through today. Yeah, I think we're at a really good point where whenever it comes time for art integration and the build out, we're gonna be moving and grooving. Now, whenever we come to the point where it comes to the actual AI development, that's going to be a different story altogether. We need to create a pretty smart AI. There's not going to be a whole lot of... Wait, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to word this. With that AI, there's not going to be a whole lot of setup for really any mistakes, because it's going to be kind of like a looming threat. Think of like Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, where you had a constant enemy, or Mr. T from Resident Evil 2. That is kind of the feel that we're going to go for, and we're not going to have any like standard ad based enemies. It's just going to be a looming threat that appears randomly or based off of events, things like that. So we're going to have to do some pretty intelligent AI work. And that is going to be when we're going to get into the real intensive brain smoking development cycle. So I think it's coming along well. We haven't been doing much on the gray boxing because I'm waiting for the art side to catch up a little bit. I'm still waiting on some interior concept arts, things like that. I haven't had a chance to check the Trello board, but everybody's life kind of got busy all at the same time. So we definitely ran into some situations where I was starting to go beyond the point that they were at, and I don't want to overrun them because we're all trying to develop this while living normal lives as well. Now, if this turns me into a multimillionaire because I just made such an amazing game because I'm just such a badass, I understand. I get it. And at that point, we'll cross that bridge when it comes, and I'll go back into full development swing and just live off of my revenue, you know? Okay, you need to stop it. Somebody messaged me, and I don't know why. Oh, okay. But yeah, I think what we're gonna do now is I'm actually gonna switch over to a stupid little fun game for a little bit, because we're at a really good stopping point and everything is functioning just how I want it. So I'm gonna leave it alone, and I'm gonna see what breaks when we launch it again the next time, because that's always what happens. So I'm gonna jump into it and be like, this doesn't work. But yeah, we're going to jump in and we're going to play something. I don't know what yet. We have a couple little games. We could jump on and play a little bit of... Oh, shit. Never mind. We've only got 30 minutes. We're going to play Half Sword. If you've never seen Half Sword, be ready to be amazed. Oh, come on. Update. But yeah, you guys got to let me know what you're thinking about how everything works and how you're liking it. If you want me to do a full breakdown stream or intro to game development stream, things that you should think about whenever you're doing it, or whatever it is, I'm more than willing to come in and knock that out. Come in and sit down with you guys, do a Q&A where you ask all your questions and I answer them to the best of my abilities. Upbringing, whatever it is, I'm definitely down to do some Q&A or just a full-on like let's learn together day. So just gotta let me know. I think it could be fun. Nice. Yeah, well, we're about to turn it up with some fucking Half Sword, yo, because this game is phenomenal. All right, music has got to go. Say bye-bye to the music. Got to hear the people scream as I cut them in half. But yeah, if you guys want a day where we just sit down and I just talk to you guys about things that you want to learn, stuff like that, I have quite a large plethora of knowledge. I worked construction for 12 years. I've been in the military under aircraft maintenance. I'm an instructor right now, actually. I got a bachelor's degree in graphic design as well as game design. If you guys want to learn something, I could show you how to do it. Hell, I'll even set up my external camera stream so that we can go walk around and I can show you different tools you can use if that's what you want to do, things like that. I'm always down for that. I am planning to get a Insta360 and do some more like long range shooting videos and talking about how you calculate that kind of stuff. You know, all that fun stuff. So, unhinged brutality, you have been warned. Fucking let's do it. Grotesque, baby. All right. Let's see. Well, I only have one available. Abyss. What did I just do? Oh, did I jump into the... Ah, yeah. Get your ass up. Oh, you damaged my back. I have not played this in a while, so bear with me as I remember how to actually do things. Grab the lid. Grab the lid. Grab the lid. Oh, I have a slow-mo? Interesting. Okay. Can you... Oh, boy. There we go. Come on. There we go. All right, thank you. All right, let's go fuck some people up. Yeah. You can't mess with the axe. Oh God, I'm throwing. I'm throwing. Ow. You should be dead. I hit you in the face with an axe, bro. Oh God. I'm trying to actually control this. It's just not working out in my... Oh, you're not dead. Hold on, let me fix this really quick. Oh, you give up? Yeah, I don't care. Okay, well you died. Get the axe out of your butt, thank you. Yeah. But yeah, if you've never seen this game, it's very wild. Whoa, 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 not the candlestick. Anything but the candlestick, alright? Okay, that's what I was going for before, but I want your head, not your arm. Yeah. Drop it. You're not dead yet? Hold on. There we go. There we go. Give me that. Give me that candlestick. Yeah, give me the candlestick. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. My feet are all kinds of bloody. Oh, there you go. I see you. Oh no, I need my scythe. Come here. Get out of here. Yeah. How about thee? Oh no, he's stuck. Right, come on, let go. Let go of my candlestick. Uh-oh, I impaled him. Is he grabbing onto my candlestick? Stop it. Stop it. Give me my candlestick back. You don't get it. You're not good enough. Okay. Handled. Weirdest medieval game. Oh, you have a paddle? Paddles are dangerous. Stop it. Oh, I'm out of stam. All right, you know what? We're gonna rock the paddle here. No. Okay. Yeah, you know, I don't want you. I just want your paddle. Okay, come on. Give me the paddle. There we go. Suck it. This game is ridiculous. I love everything about it, but it's ridiculous. Ooh, give me them shoes, yo. This? Okay, whatever. That's fine. We got some protection for the feet now. What we got in here? Pants? No, just a blue shirt. You know what? All right. Ooh, there we go. No, get rid of that junk. Give me that. Thank you. And then give me that. There we go. Now we're set. We got range and a spike. All right, let's do this. Yeet. 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 Block. 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 All right, I'm just getting my warm-up in, guys. Bear with it. Bear with the chaos. Go. Anybody want to come fight? Oh my God, that boy just murdered me. All right. What does the play demo do? Oh, did they finally update it to where everybody has access to the category still software and game development? Yeah, I'm gonna be hopping off here in like 10 minutes. I'm not worried about changing it. I'm research, you know. Oh yeah, get him, get him. All right, we're ready.
What gain is there in blood spilt? Twixt us.
Let's do this. Yeah, we got to a good stopping point, so. Oh yeah, we're throwing hands. Throwing hand. Oh, come here. You can't fight this. Yeah. This is the most awkward game to play ever. It's all mouse based. There we go. I'll take it. Oh, poor little guy. Sure, spoiling, so why not? Never played this game mode before, so. Oh yeah? You think you're cool? I'll fight y'all with my bare hands. Well, my armored hands. Come on. Let's do it. Ow, fuck, that thing hurts. Give up. Give up, punk. Give up, punk. Give up, punk. Oh, I'm gonna beat that ass. You keep trying to stand up. Oh yeah, you got a hammer? I got fists of justice, boy. Well, you think you're cool? Oh yeah, you're coming back for more, huh? You can't win, boy. My fists of fury are too much. Ah. Are you done yet? Like, this looks so awkward, probably on camera, because I'm just sitting here holding my hand and just wiggling back and forth. I like this game though. This game is just a load of fun. Ah. All right. Let's see if my Fist of Fury can do this. Oh, he just starts with an axe? Nope. You don't get it. I'm gonna beat your body to death, boy. Ah, oh, shit. Nope. Nope. Get up. Get up. Don't you let me get up. Get. Oh, shit. Nope. Well. All right. I think we're going to end it off there. My Fist of Fury couldn't carry me to victory, but it was fun tonight. I hope you guys learned some stuff as we went through, and I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Like I said, hit me up in the Discord if you guys would want me to sit down with you and just do a full-on just Q&A based setup where we talk about really anything. I'm old, so I have some life knowledge I can spread on to people. So, but yeah, on that note, guys, I think we're going to end it off there. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the lurks, the follows. Thank you for all the raids, everything that's happened tonight. Thank you all so much for the support and all the likes on YouTube. So, as always, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Until then, bye-bye for now.